Okay, hello everyone. Today we are in the Piper Cheyenne. It's a turboprop, and I am in Washington. So I've just installed Orbx True Earth Washington. I'm here at KTIW Tacoma Narrows, going to do a 106 nautical mile flight to Portland, KPDX, and check out some of the scenery that comes with Orbx True Earth. Also, the first time on this channel that I've been in the turboprop here, so should be fun. So you can see I've got it all opened up now, getting my passengers on board, got the baggage compartment opened. So we'll hop inside. I don't have a subscription to the Western expansion for Pilot Edge, so this is outside of Pilot Edge's coverage. They have Southern California for where I normally fly, so we'll be listening to live ATC once we get airborne. In the future, maybe I'll get a Western expansion and do this flight with Pilot Edge ATC. We are flying out of Towered Airport, so I'll make my calls as if I'm talking to the tower, but since there's no Pilot Edge, there's nobody on the other end. Okay, next up is right engine, fuel pump. Ignition, starter. Head back down over here. There we go. And we've got right engine on, fuel pump off, ignition off, and set that over to generator. Looks good. Left engine, fuel pump, ignition, starter. I love the sound of the turbine spooling up. A little hard to grab that. There we go. Turn that up, and my engine's up to speed. Turn off the fuel pump, ignition, back over to generator. Tacoma Narrows ground, November 359 Golf Charlie, east ramp, VFR departure to the south, taxi with India. And then ground would respond with a taxi direction, so in my case I would be told to taxi via Bravo 2 Alpha 1, runway 17. So I'd repeat that. Taxi Bravo 2 Alpha 1, runway 17. I love the modeling on the Cheyenne. It's sort of the big brother of the Navajo that I also fly. This is the turboprop version of the Piper Navajo. Love the sounds. And it really accelerates pretty quickly. And you give it a little bit of throttle. Lined up. There we go. Alright, full speed. And rotate. Positive rate, gear up. So there's the Tacoma Narrows Bridge off to our left. It's very famous because it is the bridge which collapsed just a few months after it was made in 1940. You've seen the video of it. It's where the whole bridge kind of gallops and twists and turns in ways that don't look like that steel and concrete should. I'm an engineer, and we actually studied it in engineering school. It's a very famous failure. So a design failure where high winds caused it to experience aerostatic flutter, and the whole thing just oscillated and kept twisting until it failed. Okay, do our first turn.
Medevac 3 Alpha Lima, contact Seattle Center 125.8.
There's 2 in the south side, that's the coast, there's 1 that's 10 o'clock, 6 miles northeast out of 2,300.
6,000. Gonna level off in a little bit.
Traffic no factor, contact Seattle Center 128.3.
28.3, no 69 degree.
Commander Echo Alpha, usage destination is Tango Whiskey Foxtrot.
I think one of the things I noticed the most about flying here is the trees. So there's a lot of pine trees, evergreens. Alright, so we've got the autopilot on. I can sit back and enjoy the ride a little bit. Straight ahead is Olympia. That's the first field that we're going to, or that's the airport that we're going to overfly. And as soon as we get there, we're going to turn left and head south towards Portland. It looks great. You know, I've been flying around California, and it's nice to have a change of scenery, right? So you got a lot of green here, up in Washington. I also noticed when I installed this, the Orbx installer, it gives you the option to have transparent roads. It'll disable the X-plane default roads, and let's just use the photo scenery roads, which is also nice. So everything looks even more photorealistic when you don't have kind of the gray geometric lines of the default X-plane roads. Alright, so doing our turn. Just reaching Olympia Airport now. From here I've got 84 nautical miles. Should be along heading 156. And I'm going to be coming in to runway 10 when I get there. So I've been experimenting. This is X-plane running on the Mac side of a MacBook Pro, and unfortunately, the X-plane version, the Mac version of X-plane, does not work with an external GPU. I do have an external GPU, but it's worse than useless when you run it with Mac X-plane. It actually gives you lower frame rates than no GPU. On the Windows side, it sort of works. So I have my drive partition and an external drive. So I've been running Windows under X-plane under Windows as well, and it does work with the GPU. But weirdly enough, it gives me roughly the same frame rates as I get with the Mac without. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll crack the code of settings to get it to work. The only nice thing about it is that functions which are GPU dependent don't really impact the frame rates, since it's more CPU limited. So on that side, I can run it at full Retina resolution, and I can turn up HDR plus SAAO and some of the nicer settings on the GPU side without really impacting frame rates. But my frame rates still, are like 22, so it's still pretty low. I think Orbx did a great job here. I was a little surprised at how long the installation was. It took about 8 hours, so it's I think it was 60 gigabyte download, and then it has to uncompress it and install it, and it's over 200 gigabytes once it's installed. So I have an external 1 terabyte SSD I've been using, which solves a lot of my X-plane scenery constraints. So no problem there, fitting that on the external, but between downloading it and installing it, it was 8 hours when I clicked the buy button until I finally had it set up. But it's nice. It's everything, right? It's got all the photo, real scenery. It's got all the modeling, so you don't need to do ortho photos or anything at all. For Washington, it's all on here. They've got VFR landmarks. I noticed even the airports have modeling, so I noticed some custom buildings at some of the airports I was poking around at. So it's not just running the explain defaults. And then if you go to the Orbx website, they sell a whole bunch of custom airports just for X-Plane in Washington. So I might get some of those. They're like $20 each, and they look awesome. I love their detail. 21 miles.
Southwest 3624, contact low and approach 26.9.
26.9, Southwest 3624, good day.
Going 48, left heading 320, descending 5,000.
I've tried the live traffic plugin, which pulls actual real traffic from ADSB info from I think it's Open Sky. But for some reason, it only gives me like one airplane that's never anywhere near me. So I haven't quite figured that out. It would be nice to have other aircraft in the sky. Even when you're on Pilot Edge, Pilot Edge has, at peak hours, maybe 22 people on it. And they're spread out over half of the United States, right? You've got, most of them are in the California area, but some are in the western expansion. So the odds of even bumping into another Pilot Edge pilot are pretty low unless you're going out of a major airport, in which case you might have somebody on ground at the same time. I've also used World Traffic, the World Traffic plugin, which is awesome. You can literally fill the skies with airplanes, but they're not really interacting with you. So it does have its own kind of ATC, which you could use. But in general, you're just kind of watching where airplanes are and coming into a landing when you see a break in the action. I'll be curious what the Microsoft ATC approach is. The Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. If you've ever used X-Planes, it's not good. Cheyenne goes really fast. I'm still getting used to the fact that you overshoot things by a lot because you kind of forget that you're moving much faster than you would in a small aircraft. Imagine if I ever play around with jets, it'll be even worse.
Number 666, Foxtrot Sierra, Portland, approach Portland Alpha 3028. Roger, 3028. 3028 Sierra, 13 northbound, traffic 1 to 2 o'clock, 84 miles, 25, 2000. Traffic,
Okay, so we made it. Let's get everything shut down here. Start by turning off the avionics. go. I like how long it takes them to spin down. All right, well, that was fun. We got to try out the Orbx True Earth Washington, flew to Mr. X's Portland Airport, which has some great scenery to it, and flew the turboprop, which was amazingly hard to land, I have to admit. It's got a lot of inertia, and it's quite different than the Navajo. The Navajo, the flight model is really easy to land, almost lands itself, whereas this was quite a challenge. All right, thanks for watching.